What is the most lag possible in Super Mario Maker? Since the day I first got my hands onto Mario Maker, I have always loved exploiting the mechanics of the game. While Mario Maker usually runs at stable 60 frames per second, there are a couple of contraptions that noticeably slow the game down. I've been toying around with these tricks for ages now, trying every time to get the game to run a little bit slower than before, exploiting just the standard mechanics without using glitches. While it was easy to get the game to run pretty slowly, I never found a clear answer what the definitive, most efficient way is to make the game lag. Until recently, because recently we discovered that it was possible to reduce global lag by using global ground, which opened up tons of new ways to lag the game. In this video we're going to recreate my journey to reduce the most lag possible, and in the end we will finally find out what the lowest frame rate is at which Super Mario Maker is able to run. So you ready? Let's do this! Okay, so the first thing I ever tried was to find out what setup gives the game the most trouble. That's pretty easy to answer. There are only a couple of ways to really make the frame rate tank. One is by loading as many entities onto node blocks as possible. The other option is to stack as many power blocks onto a single tile as possible. Stacking power blocks lags the game way more than using the node block trick. So the first thing I tried was stacking the maximum amount of node blocks onto a single blue platform on tracks. This design already provides a good amount of lag. The game runs at about 15 frames per second when using this. This means that one in-game second takes about 4 non-Mushroom Kingdom seconds to pass, and that one in-game minute takes about 4 minutes to pass. That's already really slow. But that is just the beginning. So far, we are using the whole entity limit in order to get as many power blocks into position as possible, but we can still use the entity limit for power-ups to get the game to lag a little bit more. So here we have 100 stars on top of node blocks. This creates a little bit of lag as well. On its own, this wouldn't be too interesting, but since we're able to keep the power block lag globally loaded in, we can combine both these techniques to additionally get a little bit more lag. Now the game runs at about 12 frames per second. One in-game second now takes about 5 real seconds to pass. That's a little bit more efficient, but definitely no breakthrough. But then a small breakthrough happened. So the reason why the game starts to lag the more power blocks are stacked onto a tile is probably because the game tries to solve the collision of each power block against each power block every frame, which at some point starts to take an insane amount of computing power. So if we want to produce the absolute amount of lag imaginable, we need to make this collision problem as complicated as possible. So the next thing I tried was, instead of using the stars on top of node blocks for extra lag, adding all 100 stars onto the same spot so that each power block does not only collide with 100 power blocks, but with 100 stars as well, creating a way harder computing task. And yes, that worked. I also did a little bit of optimization here. Instead of using spike tops with munchers, we use a single winged cloud here in order to stack all the powers. This takes forever, but it also allows us to add 8 more power blocks into the spot in total, since we only need one cloud entity. This design lags really hard. The frame rate goes down to about 7 frames per second. One in-game second now takes over 8 real seconds. 1 minute of the game timer suddenly takes more than 8 non-mushroom minutes. Even setting this up takes about 6 minutes because of all the lag. So this design is really old, that's been known for years, and for the longest time I thought that this was the slowest we can run Mario Maker at. But recently I was chatting a little bit with the Mario Maker glitch hunting legend Psycrow. So I told him that I was looking for ways to lag the game as hard as possible, and he sat down and used some of his magical memory modding tools to load in and to stack as many power blocks as you can imagine. This is what this looks like. He was able to get over 500 power blocks loaded and stacked in this stage. This really brings Mario Maker down to its knees. The game here runs at a little over 3 frames per second. One in-game second takes 16 seconds to pass, and a lot of other crazy stuff is going on. Fire flower shots aren't spawning anymore, and the game seems to feel really ill in general. So I have no idea how Psycrow memory modded that into the game. My best bet is that he sat in a dark room in front of candles, mumbling old Latin poems while sprinkling mushroom dust onto the game disc until it decided to boot up this way. But I could be wrong about this. But no matter what he did, watching this brought an idea to me. What if we found a way to glitchless circumvent the entity crazy limit. What if there was a way to have more than 100 POWs in the game without using any glitches? Well, luckily, there is a way to do this. We were able to double the amount of POW blocks via ELB manipulation. As most of you probably know, question blocks and node blocks stop to spawn enemies once 100 are loaded in. But if 100 are loaded in, items that were set in the editor still load. So if we load 100 POW blocks out of node blocks and place 100 POW blocks at the beginning of the stage, we're actually able to have 200 POW blocks in the game at once, completely glitchless, just exploiting a couple of intended mechanics. So this is what this looks like. Here we have 100 POW blocks to the very left, but we also have over 100 node blocks containing POW blocks above conveyor belts. All we need to do is to run on top of the node blocks for the POW blocks to spawn, and the belts carry them towards our lag production facility. This way we're able to stack almost 200 POW blocks on a single tile. This makes the game really slow. It runs at 7 frames per second. One in-game minute takes over 8 minutes to pass, and just waiting until all POW blocks were in place took me about 7 minutes. But that's still not the slowest we're able to get, because once again we're able to combine this with stars. But not with 100, but with 200 of them. The same trick we just used for the POW blocks can be used for the stars as well. It took me a while to find a setup that is able to load 100 stars and 100 POW blocks at once, but here we go. First we load in 100 stars by jumping at these question blocks. Then the stars change their direction, and now we load in the 100 POW blocks while we escort the 100 stars at the same time. Luckily, we were able to see where the stars currently are because of their particle effects at the top, because otherwise timing this would have been a nightmare. Once we reach our lag production facility, the other 100 stars and the other 100 POW blocks are loaded in. Now we have to wait a little bit until all stars are at this spot, and then we can start the lag production by triggering this blue platform. And then we have to wait forever. It takes almost 25 minutes until all POW blocks are in place. But once they are, the game is down on its knees. Mario Maker now runs at about 3 frames per second. One in-game second takes over 20 seconds to pass. One in-game minute, 20 real-life minutes. That's the most lag I was able to produce. And now that I have everything set up and running, I kinda wonder why I did all of this. It is so unbearably slow, it's almost painful. But we did it. So, is this the end of this story? Well, no, because Psycrow actually decided to sit down again, do all of his evil game disc rituals all over again to change Mario Maker's memory and to come up with a modded design that stacks over 500 POW blocks onto a single block. That's what this looks like, and that is even worse than what we did before. Here the game runs at a little over a single frame per second. One in-game second takes 33 real seconds to pass, and to be honest, I'm surprised that Mario Maker is still running here. This glitch design probably can't be improved anymore, since Psycrow used all possible spawns to load in POW blocks. If he were to add stars to this design, they would prevent some POW blocks from loading, which would make the whole design less effective. So the next time someone asks you what the most lag possible in Super Mario Maker is, now you know the answer. Huge shout out to Psycrow, he's been a huge help with this video, and it's been really amazing that he took the time to hack the game to find out what the definitive most lag possible is. So I hope you wonderful ladies and gentlemen enjoyed this little video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, and maybe you feel especially laggy today and want to hit the subscribe button really slowly as well. I hope that all of you have a wonderful day and to see you guys soon. Goodbye.